So we'll just go and attach up the second snow cannon now. So this snow cannon is going to be filled full of the shampoo for the car. So we're going to apply that on there, and basically then we're just going to gently mitt it. Straight mitt movements, okay, no circles. I see a lot of people when they're cleaning cars doing circles. Circles are not right. Circles basically will scratch into the car. If you ever try to get scratches out of the car before, the hardest scratch to remove is one that's circular. Okay, so always straight up and down movements. Start at the top of the car, and basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to gently push that foam, okay, across the top. Not trying to drive it in there, just gently mitt it across the top, one panel at a time, and then we're going to rinse off that mitt as well, so that way we're not carrying contaminants from one panel across to the other. Start at the top because it's the cleanest part of the car, work your way down to the bottom part of the car, always the dirtiest. Alright, we're back in a minute.
Okay guys, so this is the part when we start actually cleaning the car now. Normally what you would be doing here is the 2-bucket method, which will demonstrate that at some point in another video when we do the manual sort of non-powered wash. But today, this is a bit of a tips and tricks. We're going to actually do a variation on how to apply shampoo to the car. So recently we've been learning a few tricks in the trade, and one of the tricks is putting your shampoo inside a snow cannon. So for those who already have it, this is probably something that's going to provide, really at the end of the day, a bit of efficiency and probably less labour, you know, when you wash your car, which is what we're looking for. So again, the mixture here is no different to this snow cannon, snow job, which is basically 1 to 150 to 900 mils of water. And what we effectively do here is actually mix it up, spray a panel, one part of the car, grab a mitt, wash it that way. So you're spraying the shampoo in onto the car as opposed to having it in a bucket and actually, you know, retrieving the suds and the soap that way. So, and we'll demonstrate that in a second. So guys, what we've done here now is actually done the mix, and as you can probably tell, talking about efficiency and less effort, this is how much water we're going to be using. In fact, I find, especially with the minis, you don't use all of this. What I find is I probably would just mix 75% and probably use about half of that, if not a bit more. So that's how efficient this process or this tip is. And normally, as Mark will talk about, is how do we normally wash it with the so-called 2-bucket method.
So basically guys, the purpose behind the 2-bucket method, or the intent behind it, is that you've got one bucket which has got your shampoo and your wash on it, okay? And then you've got one bucket where you're rinsing it out. So if we're doing a 2-bucket method, what we'd do is we'd pour the same amount of car cleaning product, so the shampoo, into this bucket here for the wash, and we'd agitate it with our hand, just to try and build up some foam, okay? What we'd do is we'd grab our microfiber mitt that we're going to do our cleaning with, we would dip it into that bucket, okay, with the car shampoo in it, and then we'd be applying it to one panel at a time, okay? And then once we've cleaned that panel, like that, we'll grab this mitt and we'll put it into the rinse bucket. So if you look inside the rinse bucket, we've actually got that grit guard down the bottom. So after every panel we're rinsing, so that way all that dirt and grit that we've got off that panel is now sitting down the bottom of that bucket before we go back in to our wash again and going to a different panel. The purpose behind that is just to make sure that you're not taking contaminants from one panel across to the other. And as I said before, we try to start at the top of the car, so the cleanest parts of the car, and we work our way down. So as you saw on my car before, the dirtiest parts of the car was down here, okay? So you're trying to break the car down into segments, okay? So what Rommel and I are going to demonstrate now, that was a little tip or trick that we've found ourselves. And if you've got a pressure washer, definitely saves you a bit of time. And that's applying the shampoo to the entirety of the car. So that way we can wash it, still panel at a time, but the suds is all applied. That cuts out one of these buckets, and all we're doing after each panel is we're rinsing, okay? So the only difference for those of you that don't have a powered product is you're going to be taking the shampoo from in your wash bucket, applying it to the panel, going back into the rinse after every panel again, okay? All right, we'll just cut across and we'll get the shampoo on the car. So we've applied the shampoo now to the whole car. So what you'll notice, guys, is the foam on this is not as thick, okay? It's because it's not a pre-washed product. This is not designed to lift the dirt off, okay? This is designed just to be applied to the car to do that final, clean up. So as you can see, Rommel, what he's doing there with the microfiber mitt is he's not applying any pressure, right? He's just using the product to glide across the top of the car. It's suspended on that layer of sort of foam that's been created, okay? And it's just gently removing those last bits of dirt, okay? So what he's going to do is he's going to start with a panel or half a panel at a time. If it's a big panel like, say, your roof, okay? Just break your car into segments, and you're going to grab it then into the rinse, which you can see I'm doing now. So you just gently agitate that, and all that dirt and grime from that panel is going to come off, okay? And now you're right to go back onto the next panel. So if you weren't using a powered product like we have here today, guys, you'd be using the shampoo and the bucket. So after that point in time, you'd be going back in here, and that's when you're going to be picking up all your suds and your shampoo to apply for your next panel. So obviously there's a bit of a saving here in time if you've got that pressure washer. Another time-saving trick, guys, that we will teach you today is find a friend to help you wash your car. It takes half the time.
So the great thing about these is it's got two sides. So what you can do is actually use one side for one panel, flip it over, do the other side, then you can then rinse. So it cuts down, again, more time for you and more effort.
All right, we're almost all done now, guys. So if you didn't have a pressure washer like we're using today, you can just grab your hose and just make sure that you're rinsing off all this soaps and suds, okay? This is a really important phase, okay? This is when you want to get in between all those cracks, in between and underneath the mirrors. So you find that all these suds hide in between the mirrors here, and hide in between these headlights and stuff like that. You want to get it all out, because when you're drying the car, if you haven't dried it correctly and you've got soaps and suds through there, that's where you get that streakiness afterwards. So if you ever see a car that's been washed recently, and then you can see those white streaks, it's because they haven't managed to get all that shampoo off. So you just got to make sure that you hose it off quite well. Once again, as we said, you want your tools to last and your mitts to last the longest. Make sure you clean them out straight away afterwards. Get all the soaps and suds off them. Give them a good shake. Okay, get them nice and fluffy again, then put them out in the sun. Okay, and clean them routinely as well. As Rommel showed you earlier, got the microfiber cleaning product. Bowden's has a really great product. So one I use myself personally. Excellent product.
Again, guys, what we're doing here is actually going from top to bottom. Picture this as like a broom, so you're brushing all of that suds away. I won't talk too much because we need to actually get this product off the car as soon as we can, because as soon as it starts drying, it will start making marks on it, and you never ever want that because it's very hard to clean dry. You have to actually re-wash the whole car. So I'll continue on.
So what you'll find, guys, is that you'll always have those tricky spots on your car. So as you can see, Rommel went quite a lot over that front. That's where you tend to get that car shampoo hide in between the mirror joints, you know, in and around your body kit. Everywhere where you've got a joint of your panel is where that soap and that sud longs to hide. If you don't get that off, if you don't get that out, like I said, you're going to get those streaks as you drive along afterwards.